Welcome to the Rise of the Trades podcast, the show dedicated to helping you to build, grow, and scale your trades or construction business. All rise for your host, Craig Wilkinson.
Welcome to this week's coaching episode of the Rise of the Trades podcast, where we help trades and construction business owners to skyrocket leads, explode net profits without having to graft 60 hours a week and becoming that busy fool. In this episode, I'm going to be teaching you the 4-step formula to achieving what I believe every business owner is craving, which is freedom and happiness in the business and in the life. But before we go there, I'd just like to remind you that our priority waiting list for you to add yourself to is linked in the description of this episode. And by you adding yourself and expressing just an interest in our new groundbreaking training platform and secret community, you will get an invitation to join us as a founding member when we launch in the next couple of months. So please consider adding yourself to our waiting list if you want to get all the help, support, knowledge, guidance and accountability to grow your business. Now let's transition over to this week's coaching episode. When I first set up my joinery business and went self-employed way back in 1994, I did it for a number of reasons. Number one, I wanted to be my own boss, and I'd always known that. But number two, I did it for my, let's say, why. And you'll hear everybody talking about your why. What's your why and what's your purpose? And my why back then was, number one, I wanted to challenge myself and reach my full potential by being my own boss. But number two, behind all that, I thought that if I ran my own business, right, it'd be a doddle. Because I used to look at other people when I came out of my apprenticeship. I did a 5-year joinery apprenticeship, and I came out of that looking at my old boss and looking at the car that he drove. And he had a little boat that him and his wife used to go to at weekend, and he had a lovely house that he built himself. And I looked at that and it inspired me, and I thought, hang on a minute, here's me as an apprentice, as a bench joiner, working on the bench, manufacturing doors, windows, stairs, conservatories for my boss. And I'm looking around going, hang on a minute, he's sat up there in his office, he's probably doing nothing. All we do is take teas and coffees up to him. He comes down, he barks orders at us, disappears, and that's it. Pays us a small wage, and look what he's got. He's got a car, he's got a nice house, he's got this little boat that he used to go to. And I thought, I want that. So I thought initially running a business were going to be a doddle. And if I ran my own business, I'd earn all this money easily and become stinking loaded. And I thought that I'd have all this time on my hands to do whatever I wanted to do, because running your own business, you can take time off whenever you want to take time off. You can go on holiday whenever you go on holiday because you're your own boss, right? Or that's what I thought. So I thought if I could do this for me and my family at an early age and then build this business, I could retire and enjoy my life. And that was my why on why I set up my business in the first place. Now, if you've been in business for some time, you'll know that I must have been in cloud cuckoo land, because that is not how, right, a business runs. They are not the typical results, positive results that business owners get. Why? Well, just like me being an apprentice joiner, it took me 5 years. 1987, I started my apprenticeship. 5 years later, I finished it. So I had to learn my apprenticeship of being a joiner. Then I needed experience on the tools before I could go it on my own. Well, it's the same with running a business, isn't it? You set up a business, but we don't have any skills. We're not automatically given a microchip in back of his head that says when you go self-employed or when you set up a limited company, here's the instruction manual on how to make loads of money and get all your time back. That doesn't happen. What we do is we crash, bang, wallop, set up this business. Deep down, we want to succeed and it's a bit daunting and we know that it's going to be a challenge, but we've got absolutely no idea what lies ahead of us in building, growing and scaling a business. So there is no apprenticeship for businesses. We go into it and it's like you're learning on the job. And along that learning curve, for me, it were 12 long, hard years learning how to run a business, making all the classic mistakes. And trust me, I've made them all. Every mistake that you, my listeners, are making in your business, I can guarantee that I've made them. I've made mistakes. I've made poor decisions. I didn't understand the numbers in my business. I didn't know how to market my business. I didn't have any systems. I've employed the wrong people. So I've made all them classic mistakes. But it took me 12 years of grafting and grafting and grafting to work out, hang on a minute, there's something not working out here, Craig, because you're further away from your goal than you've ever been before. And you might be at a stage now in your business where you're working, you're grafting, you're putting the hours in like I used to, and you're no further forward. You don't seem to be seeing the results for all your hard work. And that's exactly where I were at. And I used to think the harder I graft, the more hours I work, the quicker the results will come. The more work I've got on, the more jobs I've got on, the more vans I've got on the road, the more people I take on, the quicker the results will come. But in doing that, during my apprenticeship stage of running a business, I made them classic mistakes. And this ended up making me, I'll be honest with you, I felt burnt out, I felt stressed, I was tired, I was anxious, I was struggling for money, I got cash flow problems, I was laid awake worrying at night, I was attracting the wrong types of jobs, I weren't pricing jobs right, all this lot had been going off for years. But just like you learning your trade, whether you're a plumber, whether you're an electrician, whether you're a joiner like me, whether you're a plasterer, roofer, scaffolder, right? Whatever trade you are, it took you years to master the trade that you are. But when we go into business, we think it's easy. But what we don't do is we don't look at business as another trade. It's another profession. And along that journey, we've got to learn very quickly what to do and what not to do to avoid us getting in financial difficulty or being sapped for time and working ridiculous hours like I used to be. And that is what turned me into the ultimate busy fool. And after 12 years of doing this, I'm sat there thinking, I'm no closer to what I wanted to achieve. It's cost me so much financially, so much mentally, so much spiritually, so much emotionally on this roller coaster journey. Something has got to change. Because I was going into a negative downward spiral of a victim mindset. And then everything that I was doing seemed to be hard work. And I was starting to fall out of love with my business. It all started to feel like it were hard work. There were times where I considered chucking the towel in because the pressure was just getting too much for me. But I realised that something had to change. Now, if you know my story, and if you don't, I'd encourage you to go back to episode number 1 of this podcast and have a listen to it. You will now know that I transformed and changed my business, transformed and changed my life. I built, grew, sold my business, set me and my family up financially for the rest of our lives. And back in 2012, I started coaching and mentoring other trades businesses to achieve the results that I ended up with. Now, over the years, people have said to me, Craig, how did you do it? What was it that you did? And when I've actually sat down and analysed what I did in the early days, I know what I do now, it's fresh in my mind. But when I go back to what I did in the early days, early 2000s, it were like, right, what are the steps that I actually started to take to make this transformation happen? And over the years, I've looked and looked and looked into this, and it boils down to 4 areas, 4 things that I did back then that I've maintained through all these years and decades, and I still do today. And it's these 4 things that I teach my inner circle members right up front on month number 1 on my program. It's one of the first things that I teach them in month number 1. And it's these 4 areas that we've got to nail down. And if we don't, nothing's going to change. And you'll continue to spin plates and you'll continue to be a busy fool until you put these 4 things in this order. So what I want you to do is grab your notepads, grab your pens and your tablets, make notes on what these 4 things are, but more importantly, take action on putting these 4 things in the right order. And if you do this, it's not a crystal ball, it's not a magic wand, it's not a silver bullet, nothing's going to change overnight. But when you do put these 4 things in place and start working towards it, the compound effect kicks in and the results start to come. And then all of a sudden, all that hard work that you've been putting in, you can start to bear the fruit of your hard labour and you start to get the wins and results. So grab your notepads, grab your pens, let's get stuck in. Step number 1 of this 4-step formula, I want you to write down the word mindset. Mindset. Now, you are going to struggle to grow your business and get it to where you want to be and take it to new levels and new heights with the mindset that you've currently got right now. Now, I'm not here to judge you, and I've got absolutely no idea who's listening to this anyway. But what I'm saying is, the mindset that you've got right now has brought you and your business and life to the point where it's at right now. But if you're going to push on and you're going to grow and scale your business and take it to levels and heights that you've never taken your business to before, you need to build on and grow your mindset, because you can't build and grow and scale a business and take it to a level it's never been until you build, grow and develop yourself first. So when people say to me, Craig, how did you do it? The first thing I say is, I had a massive shift in my mindset. And I started to change the way in which I approached and looked at my business. And I wanted to, instead of having a victim mindset and a negative fixed mindset, I had to open my mind up and develop a positive growth, what I now call bulletproof mindset. And if we can start to expand our mindset, we can then start to look at taking things to a whole new level. Because if I were to ask you now to go away and do a cash flow forecast that you've never done before, or go and invest this amount of money into this level of marketing, or sack that member of staff because they're costing you time and money, and then go and employ this new member of staff, or go and implement these systems and automation into your business and use these pieces of software. If I gave you all that in a wanna, you can't cope, because your mindset is where it is today. And you're going to start giving me objections, and you're going to start saying, I've tried that, Craig, and it didn't work, or I've done that and it didn't work, or I'm not doing this. Why? Because you're fearful of what the future holds. You're not in control of the future. But while ever you're sat underneath that little comfort blanket in the position that you're in your business and life, with the mindset you've got, nothing's going to change. So we've got to get rid of that comfort blanket, which is then going to take you into what I call the fear zone, the fear of the unknown. And if your mindset is not in a place that you can cope with that fear and that extra pressure, then you're not going to do it. The limiting beliefs and the victim mindset's going to kick in, and you're going to talk yourself out of it. Do you see what I'm saying? at all times, you personally and your mindset and where you are has to be ahead of your business. And if you're ahead of the business, you control the business. And when you're in control of the business, you're in control of the two most important factors in business, which is time and money. So if we're ahead of the business and we're in control of it and we're controlling our time and money, we are driving the business. But in most cases, the roles are reversed. And this is where I was back in 1994 for them first 12 years. I didn't understand all this, so I went crash, bang, wallop and set this business up, and the business overtook me. And the business then started to control me, which means the business controlled my time and controlled my money. Well, how can you grow a business if your business is in control of you? You see where I'm going? So what you've got to do is we've got to change this mindset to allow you to be ahead of your business so that you're in control of your business and you're moving it up the different levels and stages of where you need to be to get to where you want to be. So write this down word for word, right? And you'll hear me saying this phrase that I use all the time. I use it everywhere because what my job is as your coach is I've got to plant seeds in your subconscious mind. So your mind's constantly thinking about these one-liners. So write this down. The business is never the problem. The problem is always the mindset of the business owner. Let me say it again. The business is never the problem. The problem is always the mindset of the business owner, right? So if you're experiencing challenges in your business right now, it's not the business's fault that you've got these challenges. It's your fault. It's your business. You're in control, or you should be in control of your business, and you've got to take ownership, accountability and responsibility because it's your business. So it's no good moaning that you ain't got enough leads coming in. It's no good moaning that you've got cash flow problems. It's no good complaining that you can't find good, reliable, trustworthy staff. It's no good complaining that you're working too many hours and you can't take your son to football training, right? You are letting your business do this to you because you need to change your mindset. You are the bottleneck, you are the obstacle, and you are the hurdle in your business. It's not the business, it's you. And I know that's a bitter pill to swallow for some people, but it's true. The business is not the problem. You're the problem in the business because of your limitations in your mindset. So this means that you are programming yourself, your subconscious mind, to work, act and behave in a certain way. And what this leads to is bad habits. You've installed bad habits in yourself and in your business because that's the way in which the business has controlled it, and it's controlled the narrative and it's taken your business this way. So you've picked up lots of bad habits along the way. You've also got limiting beliefs that you can achieve things or you can't achieve things because you've tried things in the past that haven't worked because you didn't have the right mindset and strategy. And now the limiting belief is I'm scared or I'm apprehensive of doing this again because I've tried it and it didn't work. Or I've tried doing it and it makes me feel uncomfortable. So I've got rid of it and I've gone back under my comfort blanket. Also, in doing all of this, what happens to your health and well-being? Because for most business owners, the business controls them, and what happens? You start to neglect yourself. You start to stop looking after yourself. Maybe you got the wrong diet. Maybe you're knocking the ale back every single day. Maybe you used to have a hobby or good at gym or play football or do dancing or whatever you used to do, and all that lot slipped. So now your health and well-being is slipping, which is pushing you further towards a negative mindset. Now all of a sudden you haven't got the headspace to deal with all these plates that you've got spinning because your business is controlling you and your time. You've got that many things to do. You're wearing that many different hats in your business that decision making starts to go wrong, and we start to procrastinate, and then we start to make the wrong decisions that come back to bite us in the backside further down the line. And all this lot then leads us to falling into a little negative spiral, a little negative rut, because we can't see the results. We're putting the time and effort in, but we're doing it with the mindset that's fixed and closed and not the growth mindset of where we need to be. And this is the exact position that I was in for those first 12 years. But I believed, and I'd conditioned myself with these bad habits and victim limited, fixed, closed mindset. I believed, hang on a minute, Craig, surely when you run a business, you've got to work longer hours than everybody else. Surely when you run a business, you have to have cash flow problems. Surely when you run your business, you've got to spend thousands of pounds on marketing that's never going to work, and you've got to gamble on that. Surely running a business, you're going to start employing the wrong people, or people that are going to come and work for you that are going to rip you off. Surely that's all part and parcel of running a business, isn't it? Absolutely not. That is not why you run a business. That's being a busy fool running a business. That's been your business controlling you. But because for many of us, we're on this hamster wheel and this treadmill, and every day is like Groundhog Day, because of that, we condition ourselves and we behave in a certain way that, well, actually, running a business is hard work. No, it's not. If you learn the apprenticeship of how to build and grow and scale a business correctly. And how all that lot starts is with your mindset. So how do we change our mindset? Well, first of all, we need to change our behaviour. We need to change that programming on how you're thinking and behaving and acting. Because right now, I'm not saying it's wrong. It's brought you to where you are today, but it's not going to get you to where you want to be until we make some changes. So what I want you to do is I want you to write down these 15 things that I'm going to share with you now that you might need to consider, right? That's going to help you make that conditional shift and change in your mindset. Because this is what I did, this is what I've done, and this is what I do on a religious basis on my routine, on my daily routine. So let me just give you some tips on what you need to do to make a start on changing your mindset. Now, there are 15 things I'm going to rattle off. And I'm not saying just because I do all these 15 things that you've got to tomorrow wake up and do these 15 things. Because in all honesty, you can't. And if you try doing this for just a week, it'll break you. Why? Because you haven't got the mindset to cope with it. Because you're not, with respect, some of you won't be at this level. And if some of you are honest with yourself, when I rattle these 15 things off, you're going to go, well, actually, Craig, you're right. You've got a point. I couldn't do all that lot. I could probably do 2 or 3. And listen, that's all I'm asking you to do. I'm asking you to look at these 15 different things I'm going to share with you and maybe pick 2 or 3 things off and make us start with them. And then when this becomes a daily habit and the daily norm, and we're starting to reprogram them old bad habits with new habits, and it becomes consistent, then what we can do is we can throw a couple more in. Are you with me? But these 15 things I'm going to rattle off now have taken me 18 years to craft and learn. Okay, so grab a notepad, grab a pen. Number 1 is your health and well-being. If we're going to change your mindset, come on, you've got to change you. Because some of you will be out of shape. Some of you aren't looking after yourself. And let's face it, you are the most important person to you, your business, your team, your family, your friends, your loved ones. You are the most important person. There's so many people relying on you. So number 1, what are you going to do to improve your health and well-being? Number 2, exercise. We know how important exercise is to us. And I get that maybe many of you listening to this will still be on the tools. So you're technically, you're grafting, you're exercising every day. But I'm on about beyond that. I'm on about, walking, maybe jogging, maybe joining gym, doing whatever floats your boat when it comes to exercise. It could be gymnastics. It could be table tennis. It could be football. But come on, we've got to be getting that exercise in. Number 3, your diet. Your diet. What are you eating? You know that whatever you put inside your body is going to make you feel a certain way. And way back then, when I was that busy fool, because I didn't have time to do anything, it was just crap that I used to eat. And because it was crap that I used to eat, it made me feel crap. Number 4, alcohol, right? Alcohol. And again, there's nothing wrong with having a drink, but sometimes the pressure that we're under, we turn to that old analogy, you turn to the bottle or you turn to the can. And back then, I was drinking far too much. I didn't have a problem with alcohol or anything like that, but I know that I was drinking too much. At night, I might have 4 bottles of lager at night, right? That weren't doing me any good on top of the poor diet, on top of not doing any exercise, on top of not looking after myself. Are you with me? I mean, now, on Boxing Day coming up, I'll be 2 years without a drop of alcohol. I've given it up. It's poison, right? So number 4 is alcohol. Number 5, develop a new morning routine. Are you still hitting that snooze button in the morning? We don't want to be hitting that snooze button, do we? We need to be developing a new morning routine because that sets us up for the day. So what can you do different in the morning to set yourself up for the day? It could be exercise. It could be working on yourself. It could literally be, do you know what? I'm going to get up half an hour every day, Craig, earlier than I am doing, just to work and develop me and my mindset. Number 6, evening routine. What's your evening routine look like? Because at evening, whatever you are going to bed thinking about or worrying about or stressing about, your subconscious mind is processing that while you're sleeping. So what's your evening routine? Are you going to give up flicking through Facebook or TikTok while you're laid in bed? Are you with me? We need to have a better routine. Are you going to start to go to bed a little bit earlier instead of staying up till midnight drinking 6 bottles of beer every night? Number 7, educational content. You consuming educational content that's going to help you, give you more knowledge or give you new strategies to help you to make better decisions. Example, this podcast. Number 8, podcasts, right? Get stuck into podcasts, not just my podcast. There are loads of brilliant educational podcasts out there that you can go and listen to that inspire you, that will give you more knowledge than you've got now. And when we take action on that knowledge, we're going to get results. Number 9, audiobooks. One of the things that I started getting into years ago was starting to listen to audiobooks. I'm not the best at reading, if I'm honest. And I'd pick a book up and I'd probably fall asleep reading it. So I like to listen to audiobooks of different people, motivational, educational type of content. So while I'm driving, instead of listening to doom and gloom on news, I'll Bluetooth an audiobook through my car and I'll be learning while leveraging my time and driving. Number 10, meditation. Meditation. Get an app called headspace.com. Headspace.com. 10 minutes of meditation in the morning, and no, I don't shave my hair off, climb up a hill with a robe on, sat cross-legged humming. I sit at my dining room table at 5 o'clock in the morning, put 10 minutes of Headspace on, sorts me out for the morning. Number 11, affirmations. These are little mini statements that you're going to tell yourself over and over again. Little positive affirmations, little positive statements that you keep repeating every day to yourself to train your subconscious brain into achieving what you're telling yourself. This could be around finance, it could be around health, it could be around well-being, it could be around relationships, little mini statements repeatedly told to yourself. Number 12, gratitude journal. Every day, I write down in a gratitude journal the 10 things I'm most grateful for that day, because I used to have nothing and I'm grateful for everything that I've got. So I write down what I'm grateful for. I write down my wins of the day. I write down my intentions for the following day, all in my gratitude journal. Number 13, circle of influence. The people that you are hanging around with are influencing your behaviour. And years ago, I used to hang around with people that influenced my behaviour in a negative way. So I had to distance myself from those people. And now I only surround myself with positive people, mainly Trades Freedom Club members. You know, in our Trades Freedom Club Facebook group, as an example, you know that when you come to our group, it's positive, it's safe, we've got a great culture. They're the people that I want to hang around with, because I don't want to be influenced to do things by negative people. Number 14, media and the news. I haven't listened to any news or bought a newspaper in 14 years. Because I don't want my mindset filling with negative doom and gloom, wars, stabbings, viruses, politics, economy, recessions. There's nothing I can personally do about any of them. So I'm not letting the media try to brainwash me into programming me to just be another one of their taxpayers that are towing the line and doing what they say when they say it. I distance myself from all that. The final one, number 15, is what I call the law of attraction. The law of attraction. Google law of attraction, and it's all around positive and negative energy. And that if you're surrounding yourself with negative vibes, negative people, your own personal negative mindset, and you're consuming your life with negativity, then guess what's going to keep showing up? You've got it, negativity. Law of attraction teaches you about how to move away from the negative things that are happening in your business, in your life, over to the positive side. And when we're on the positive side and you're surrounding yourself with that, then guess what you're going to start to attract? More positive outcomes. So I want you to go away and start thinking about those 15 different changes that you can make in yourself, right? That's going to make a positive impact on your mindset. Now, if you go out and do a brisk walk tomorrow, and you don't have any alcohol tomorrow, and you listen to another one of my podcasts tomorrow, you can't expect miracles to happen overnight just because you've done that. So I have people say to me, Craig, I've done it for a week and my life's not completely changed. Well, it's not going to, is it, after a week when you've programmed yourself for years to act and behave in this way? It's going to take a little bit of time to override that programming and them bad habits you've got and replace them with these good habits that are going to help you move forward. But the sooner you make a start, the sooner the shift and change is going to happen. Remember, the business is never the problem. The problem is the mindset of the business owner. So the sooner we can get to work on shifting and changing that mindset, the sooner the results will start to happen. Now, I've gone from one extreme to another. I've gone from probably, if you'd have met me 20 years, 25 years ago, I am not the same person as I were back then. In fact, you can't get any polar opposites. And over the last 18 years of me being into personal development, I believe that I've developed what I call my bulletproof mindset. In other words, there's nothing that I cannot achieve. I might not know how to do it yet, but I'll find the knowledge and I'll get the motivation and I'll find the people that I need to surround myself with to achieve that goal. So in my mind, I can achieve anything. I can do anything. And that's not me being cocky or a knobhead or anything like that. I'm not trying to come across like that. What I'm saying is, because I've homed in on this vital part of success, my mindset, and I've developed it, I've got a huge growth mindset where when I put things into my mind, in my head, I've done it, I've achieved it, and nothing's going to stop me. I'm going to be relentless until I get there. Why? I've developed it. And all I'm asking you to do is use one of them or a handful of them 15 things I've just shared with you, and you, every day, start to make a positive change to your own mindset. Now, this is so important to you and your business that I've absolutely dedicated a full episode on how to create a powerful morning and evening routine to change your mindset and your life, right? Because by developing a morning routine and setting yourself up for the day, right, that is the catalyst to everything. Because during that morning routine, you can be looking at your diet and having a different breakfast. You can be exercising as part of that routine. You can be listening to educational content while you're out having a run. You can be saying affirmations while you're out having a run. Are you with me? There's lots of things we can bolt into that. So, episode number 10, right? When you finish this podcast, I want you to go back and listen to episode 10, because in that, I tell you and give you my strategy, and I share with you what my morning routine is. I give you everything. So go back and have a listen to episode number 10. Step number 2 of this 4-step formula, I want you to write down the word motivation, right? Motivation. Now, I'm sure you've experienced the benefits in your business and in your life when you've been motivated and when the motivation brings results. And let's face it, doesn't life seem so much better and easier when you're motivated? When things are going right and everything's working well, everything feels worth it. And we get times in his life and his business where we go through sort of like stages where for X amount of months, everything's going according to plan. When everything goes according to plan, we're happier, we're more vibrant, we've got more energy, and things are going great. And that's when the law of attraction starts to kick in, and you start to become a magnet of positive energy. And this positiveness that you've got, that's all driving this motivation, starts to rub off on other people. And all of a sudden, you're happier. Your family and loved ones are happier because you're happier, right? Your team are happier because they can see that you're happier and you're not snapping and having a pop at them. Your customers all seem to be happy and everything's going swimmingly well. And life just feels good when you're motivated and you're energized. Now, did you know that you are a magnet? Let me say it again. You are a magnet. Now, hear me out on this. If you were to put yourself under a massive microscope, a quantum physician who's going to talk to you about quantum physics. Now, listen, you weren't expecting to learn about physics on this episode, were you? But hear me out. If you were to go underneath a microscope, all you are from a quantum point of view is a vibration of energy. You're an atom, your molecules, your flesh, your blood, all that lot, all them atoms, they vibrate at a certain vibration. Now, that vibration can either be positive or it can be negative. And given the fact that we know magnets are an attraction of energy, we know that on a magnet, you've got a positive and you've got a minus. The positive is the positive energy. The minus is the negative energy. It's a magnet. You are exactly the same. whatever energy you're vibrating at, if it's negative and everything's doom and gloom and everything's going to shit and nothing's going right, and you keep using this word, luck only ever comes in threes, bad luck only ever comes in threes, and all that nonsense. If your mindset is negative and you're thinking and you're feeling negative, and you're surrounding yourself with negative situations or negative people, and they're all saying the same things, if in your head everything is negative, then what vibration of energy are you giving off to the universe and to everybody around you? Negativity. And this is why I've said negativity attracts more negativity. It's simple. It's the law of physics. So, this flip side of that is the positive side. So, if you've got a positive outlook and a positive attitude and your mindset's in the right place and you're energized and you're motivated and everything's going well, all this positive energy is going to be transferred out there as a vibration, which means positive things come back to you. It's the law of attraction. It's how it works. And you might know people that you've heard say, do you know what? You could fall into a pile of shit and still come out smelling of roses, right? Because everything you do touches and turns to gold. Now, that's not luck, is it? That's not luck. That is, they've got the right mindset because their business is not the problem. They're the problem. So if we can shift and change the mindset and start to apply new business strategies, new business techniques, taking new opportunities on because you've got a growth mindset and you're not fearful of stepping into the unknown, they're going to get a different result to the person that's always moaning and groaning and bitching and whining on how shit the business is and how shit life is. You see what I'm saying? Now, let me give you an example of how this works. If you think of a person in your life, because you must know one, that's negative. Moaning, groaning, bitching, whining, doom and gloom, not a good word to say about anybody, can't find the positive out of anything. Everything is negative. If I were to get that person and put you in a room with one table and two chairs and lock you in that room for 4 hours, even though you went into that room probably positive and upbeat, and you sit down for that negative person and you've got to listen to them fucking moaning for 4 hours, right? When I let you out of that room, how are you going to feel? Let me tell you, you're going to feel like their weight of their world has just been shifted onto you. Why? Because they've just transferred that negative energy onto you. And because you're a magnet, you've attracted it to you. Now, flip side of that is, same two chairs, same table, same room. You put me in that room with you for 4 hours, and I tell you now, I'll have you bouncing off walls, right? And when I let you out of that room, you are going to be energized, you're going to be positive, you're going to be motivated, you're going to want to take the world on. Now, the only difference is the energy that we've just transferred. One were negative, you go in with me, it's positive. And when you come out of that room, you're going to feel like you can achieve higher things. That's the vibration of energy. And that dictates your motivation levels. And if you're not motivated, you're not going to take any action on anything. And if you don't take any action, you're not going to get no results. So when people say to me, Craig, you're always positive. I never hear you say a bad word. You never make excuses. You've always got a smile on your face. You're always on it, right? You're always fired up. How the hell do you do it? Well, I do it because I'm relentless in working on my mindset and my motivation levels. But listen, it's impossible for anyone to be so positive 365 days a year. Don't let me lead you down a false sense, because I'm not like mega positive 365 days a year. There are days where I have bad days. There are days that do try and knock me off course. People do throw curveballs at me. I get it, but the difference is with me, it lasts a day. and then I'm over it. And then I'm back onto motivation and mindset. Are you with me? So there's certain sticks and stones that are going to get thrown at certain people where when they hit them, because they're so negative, it feels like a big punch, a sucker punch, and it brings them to the knees. There's nothing that really can bring me to my knees other than my own health, right? Nobody can throw anything at me that's not just going to bounce off me the day after I've got over it. Are you with me? And a great example of that is today's Friday. It's Friday morning as I'm recording this podcast. So Tuesday, 3 days ago, right, I started my new inner circle group. They're with me for the next 12 months on my marketing and business coaching program. And the first month, the whole of this month, we are working on their mindset, personal development and motivation. Because if we can't get this right now, if I come and tell them next month to go away and do this, and this, and they don't believe they can do it, then guess what? They're not going to do it, and therefore they're not going to get the results. So my job as their coach in this first month is to make them aware of all this, right? And then I set them homework, and they go away, and each day they've got to do a certain thing. And every day they've got to check in on our accountability WhatsApp group. So Tuesday, we spent all day going through the strategy of mindset and motivation. And I said to him, right, it's only Tuesday now. I'm going to set you some goals between now and Friday. And all I want you to do is do one or two things like I'm asking you guys to do now, just one or two things to move that needle on how you're thinking and behaving right now. And honestly, I put a post in our group this morning at 4:30 in the morning, because I part of my morning routine is I'm up at 4:15, and I'm holding my inner circle members accountable at 4:30 in the morning, right? That's how on it I am. So this morning, literally 3 days after that very first session, I said, right, I want you to all post into our group, right, what shift and change has started to happen? What have you done over this last 3 days from a standing start that's already starting to make a difference? And I kid you not, the group just exploded. Craig, my new morning routine, I'm not hitting snooze button. I'm getting up. I'm having a healthy breakfast. Craig, I've gone away and joined gym. Craig, I've gone and done a run for the first time today in 10 years. Craig, I'm changing my diet. Craig, I went to bed an hour early last night. Craig, I got that gratitude journal that you told us to get. Craig, I've not touched a drop of alcohol since Tuesday. And then you get Lucas Morley, right? Lucas, and I hope you don't mind me giving him a shout out, but then Lucas Morley dropped a lovely posting of a picture of Lucas, his partner, his wife, and his daughter with the caption, "This is the first picture of me picking up my daughter from nursery for the first time ever." And his daughter is on his shoulders. All three of them have got a big smile on his face because Lucas, for the first time ever, has picked his daughter up from nursery. Now, the reason why I'm sharing this with you is this. On Tuesday, they came into this program fearful and skeptical, probably, of the unknown. We spent 9 hours live in-person training, right? Online through Zoom, where I went through the whole strategy. And then I set them homework, and now I'm holding them accountable. And look at the results that's starting to happen within 3 days of having the very first session on a 12-month program. The results are there. Now listen, I've not done anything other than show them the path, explain that mindset is the key to success, fired them up and got them motivated that shift needs and change needs to happen. And then I've wound them up, I've cranked them up, and I've let them go with some homework, and I'm holding them accountable at 4:30 in the morning. And look at what's happened. Now, nothing's changed. They've not done anything different other than what? Change the mindset. You see, them being lazy and hitting the snooze button in the morning is all down to the mindset. And now they've not got that. Are you with me? So all you need to do is adapt what I'm sharing with you now on this episode, because unless we get motivated, unless we fire ourselves up, unless we fall back in love with our business, unless we get that mindset and that motivation to think, do you know what, Craig, nothing is going to stop me from achieving my goals. And maybe for some of you, this is the kick up the arse that you needed. Maybe you know all this, but you just fell into a bit of a negative spiral rut, and you need that bit of a nudge and that bit of a motivational kick up your backside to kickstart you again. And if it does, brilliant, we've done his job. But come on, number one, we've got to get the right mindset. And number two, we've got to be fired up and motivated to achieve success in business and life. You can't climb the ladder of success when you've got your hands in your pockets. You can't get to where you want to be hitting the fucking snooze button every day, can you? So come on. Step number two is let's get motivated. Now, you might say, Craig, how do I do that? Listen, it's the exact same 15 steps that I went through on mindset. So go back to your notes on what I've just rattled off for those 15 things and get on with that, because them 15 things are going to help you change your mindset, but they're also going to help you get fired up and motivated at the same time. Now again, because this is such an important part of this strategy, I want you to go back and listen to episode number 9. Because in episode number 9, I go through the entire strategy of how to develop a positive, bulletproof growth mindset to achieve success in anything. So far, your homework after listening to this episode is go and check out episode number 9 and episode number 10. Step number 3 of this 4-step formula, I want you to write down the word action. Action. Because think about this. Step number 1, we're going to develop the right mindset for growth. Step number 2, we're going to get ourselves fired up and we're going to get ourselves motivated and we're going to have all that positive energy. Step number 3, action, is right. We now need to start taking some form of action because we've got the right mindset. We're now fully energized and we've got all this motivation. Now what we need to do is bottle that up and put it into taking massive action on new strategies, new ideas, new steps to take us business and as life forward. And looking back to where I was as that busy full joiner back in the day, I didn't have the right mindset. I didn't have the right motivation levels. All this led me to not wanting to take action on anything. So I had a lack of leads coming in. I had cash flow problems. I was working 80 hours a week, flogging a dead horse, working stupid hours. And because I was doing all that, I weren't present at home. So now it was starting to cause arguments at home because I weren't around and we were skinning and we never see you. Come on, you must know how it is. And the stress of running that business the way in which I did it was zapping all of my energy. I was out of shape. I'd fallen into a negative rut. I couldn't be bothered. That negative fuck it attitude had started creeping in. And if honestly, I was falling out of love with my business. I didn't want to get up in the morning because of the crap that I had to deal with. And because of all this, I didn't want to take action on sorting all this shit out. I was almost sat there with this negative mindset thinking, feeling sorry for myself, sat on my pity potty, victim mindset, just waiting for someone to come and save me and wave a magic wand and make everything okay. Well, listen, nobody were coming to save me and nobody's coming to save you. And if I was to continue to bury my head in the sand, which is what I was doing then, do you think that shit's going to go away by me burying my head in the sand? No, of course it's not. Do you think that shit were going to change if I landed a big job, one big job? No, of course it's not. would that shit change if I sat there and continued to do nothing? No, of course it wouldn't. So I'm in a vicious cycle. I've not got the right mindset. I'm not motivated. I'm not taking any action, but it is me expecting to get a different result. It is me expecting to get an avalanche of new qualified leads. It is me expecting to make more profit. It is me expecting to just miraculously find top joiners to come and work for me. But I got the wrong mindset. I weren't motivated to take action, so I didn't do it. But I'm still expecting a miracle to happen. You see where I'm going with this? The only way you are going to get the results is if you take massive action on new strategies. Again, you're learning your apprenticeship of how to build and grow and scale a business on these podcasts. The only way you're going to get results is if you take massive action on the strategies that I'm teaching you. So, as I'm starting to think something needs to change here, 18 years ago, I started working on my mindset. And as I started to see the little results happening with that, it made me a little bit more motivated. So what did I do? I started to get a little bit more motivated and start looking after myself, going for a jog, going to the gym, sorting myself out to get them motivation levels. And as all this started to kick in, it were, right, Craig, you are your own worst enemy because you keep moaning about the situation that you're in, but you've not done anything to take action. Now you're feeling a little bit more positive and now you've got a little spring in your step. Get off your fucking arse and go and implement some of these strategies that people are now starting to tell you to go away and do. Because if you don't, nothing's going to change. So guess what? I did. And my first introduction to all this help and support is when I joined a networking group 18 years ago and met a whole host of new business owners. Remember, circle of influence? I'm now in a new circle of influence of people that I didn't even know existed. I was no longer alone in my business any longer. I was surrounded with people that actually genuinely wanted to help and support me and see me do well. But for them first 12 years, I'd never been exposed to that circle of influence. I was just consumed with a negative circle of influence that deep down wanted to see me fail. Now all of a sudden, I've got a spring in my step, I'm surrounding myself with new people, and they're going, oh, Craig, why don't you go away and try this? Craig, have you thought about this as a marketing strategy? Craig, you need a business plan, this is how you put one together. Craig, have you ever put a cash flow forecast together? Here's a spreadsheet that I use. But because I was motivated, I started taking action. Now, 18 years ago, I didn't have access to all this knowledge that's readily available out there. A lot of it's free, like this podcast. And yeah, some of it's paid. But I'm a firm believer in finding someone that's been there, seen it, done it, and got the result that I want to get. And then approaching that person and saying to them, how did you do it? And if that person's got a growth mindset, they're going to share with you how they've done it. And if you're motivated to take action, you go away and you take action on what they're telling you to do. You see, I spent years trying to work this out myself, trying to work this business and life success out, when in actual fact, the business and life wheel had already been invented. I was just making hard work of it, trying to do it my way without doing an apprenticeship. So is there any wonder I was getting it wrong? But when I started to surround myself with this circle of influence of people that had actually achieved the results I wanted, I just said to them, would you mind telling me how you've done that? They told me, I went away and I took action and it started to work. Now, you are incredibly lucky, or we are, let's say now, to live in an age that we live in. Because the digital age is now on us, and a lot of this knowledge we can start to get for free. You don't even have to pay for it, right? So to gain the new knowledge I'm going to give you some pointers on the different things that you can do to go and gain new knowledge. Some of it's free, some of it might be paid, depend on who you go to. But it's all readily available. You just need to be motivated to go and find it. And then more important, take action on implementing it. So, podcasts like this. There's not just my podcast. There'll be a whole host of podcasts in different areas of business and life that you can go and listen to start to get the knowledge that you need. Audiobooks is another thing that you need to go and check out because there's so much knowledge, free knowledge available on listening to people's audiobooks. Go and subscribe to audible.com. Audible.com. And yes, it might cost you £7 to buy an audiobook. But if you did one audiobook a month and you can listen to that audiobook while you're driving around in your car or your van, switch that news off, get rid of that negativity, Bluetooth through your speakers, a podcast or an audiobook every day while you're driving, or every day when you're walking dog, or every day when you're in gym, or every day when you're putting dishwasher on. Every opportunity I have of popping my earpods in and listening and consuming new knowledge, I do it. YouTube. A lot of these strategies and ideas you can go away and search on YouTube. And I'm sure you do. I'm sure you go to YouTube to how to find or do something. So go and look at YouTube. Then there's coaching. Right? It can be free coaching. It can be paid coaching. But this coaching, it could be one-to-one. It could be group coaching. You've got mastermind groups that you join with other business owners that are of a similar stage of you in your business growth or maybe slightly ahead of you that you can go and join every week, every month you attend a mastermind group. There's mentoring groups. People that will mentor you along that journey. So they don't actually give you the strategies as example like I'm giving you now. They just point you in the right direction and mentor you to achieving that goal. Accountability. There's accountability groups, accountability partners that you can partner up with where you share the goal or the action task that you're going to do that week or that fortnight or month. And every week, fortnight or month, you check in with each other to make sure that you're achieving it. And now you've got someone holding you accountable for your results. There's different memberships that you can join. Free and paid memberships, again, that does a lot of this coaching, mentoring, accountability. So it's all out there. You've just got to be motivated to go and find it. You've only got to come into our Trades Freedom Club, free. Yeah, it's free. Free Facebook group and community. And every day there are people posting the wins, the results, the changes, the milestones that they've achieved. And this is in a free group. And if you're part of our community, you will know that we've created a culture where it's non-judgmental, nobody judges you. Whether you've just gone self-employed today or you've got a business turning over 5 million with 30 members of staff, it doesn't matter. You come into our group, it's a safe place to ask questions, ask people what's working for them. Remember what I've said, find people that's doing things right and copy what they're doing, ask how they've done it, and if they've got the right mindset, they'll share it, and that's the culture that we've got. So every day in our Trades Freedom Club Facebook group, there are people sharing all this knowledge, and many of the wins they're sharing are based on what they're learning on this free podcast. Right? So the people are using my podcast, which is exactly what it's designed for, to learn these strategies, get the right mindset, get motivated, take action on what you're learning on these podcasts and go and implement it into your business. And then there's people saying, Craig, I did this and now I've got this result, or I've done this and now I'm making more profit, or I brought the vetting form in place that you've shared. And now I'm not getting no time wasters. My conversion rate's gone up. Or Craig, I did this employment tactic that you shared with us And now I've got that perfect electrician working for me. It's happening, but it's only happening to the people that are taking action. And let's face it, being honest, who else do you know that delivers this level of knowledge and this level of value for absolute free on my podcast, and I don't expect anything back in return? I do all this and give all this knowledge away for free to this level of detail, right? Why? Because my mindset is, if I'd have had access to this when I was that busy fool struggling all them years ago, if I'd have had this level of access to this level of knowledge, accountability, motivation, a free Facebook group, there's no way I'd have been in that much pain and discomfort and unhappiness for that long if I'd have had this. So one of our goals, one of our missions in the Trades Freedom Club is we want to help 1 million tradesmen and women to achieve time and financial freedom. And one of the things that we use is a free podcast. And if you take all the knowledge from this podcast and you implement all that knowledge into your business and you get time and financial freedom, and we've never even met and you never even paid me a penny, then job done. Job done. Because I don't want anyone to experience the pain and the discomfort and everything that I went through growing my business, learning my apprenticeship in business. Nobody needs to go through that anymore because we've got all this knowledge that we can share with each other. Now, there's no point in you just listening to this podcast every week when it drops on a Wednesday morning if you're not going to do anything with the knowledge that I'm giving you. If you go away and you implement and take action on the strategies that I share with you, then ultimately you're going to get results. But just by listening to this episode and not taking step number 3, which is all about action, if you don't take any action, then you're not going to get the results. So here's just a quick tip. Why don't you, if you're serious about scaling your business, growing it, whatever that looks like to you, why don't you set time aside in your default diary every week to work on your business? So my Inner Circle members, they have to, it's absolute must, starting my program, they've got to set time in their default diaries every week to work on the strategies that I teach them so they're taking action. And I hold them accountable by being in the WhatsApp group, and I'm on the backs at 4:30 in the morning, seriously. And we also have a monthly check-in on Zoom where they've got to come on Zoom. It's accountability session again, where they've got to show us and tell us what they've done, what they're up to, what they're stuck on. So there's no excuses on them not getting the action tasks and their own work done. And as long as they implement what I'm teaching them every month over the course of this 12 months, I absolutely guarantee them that they grow the businesses by a bare minimum of 100%. And in most cases, it's 300, 400, 500, 600%. But the way in which they're doing it is they're getting the right mindset, they're getting themselves motivated, and they take action on what they're learning. Step number 4 of this formula, and remember, this is a formula. So each one of these equals something. And what all this equals on this formula, write down the word results. Mindset times motivation times action equals results. And that is what we're looking for. We're looking for the big result at the end. However, if we haven't got the right mindset and we haven't got the right motivation and we're not taking action, how the hell are you supposed to deliver results? You're not. By having the right mindset, timesing that by motivation, timesing that by taking massive action is going to give you the results that you're looking for. Now, let me just share this with you. Small results can happen within a day, within a week, within a month. As I've already shared with you on my Inner Circle members on Tuesday, they're already starting to get little results based on the actions that they're taking. But big results, if you're looking for a big result and life-changing business or life result, you can't expect a massive result to appear in a day or a week, can you? So let me introduce you to what I call the compound effect. And the compound effect works like this. Every day you're working on you and your business and you're grinding it out and you're putting the time in and you're putting the effort in and you're doing everything that I'm asking you to do, right? And if it's something small that we're working towards, a smaller goal or a smaller win, then we can achieve that quick. But if it's a big one, we're going to be watering your seeds, right, for weeks, for months and months and months on end. And over these months of working hard on this particular area of your business that you know you need to master, or that particular area of life that you need to master, because it's such a big one, it's going to take months. But if we keep chipping away, even though we can't see a big result or a big breakthrough, we got to keep chipping away at what we're doing. And here lies the challenge. Some people start chipping away for months, and because they don't see the result, what do? You pack in, you quit, you change your approach, your mindset starts slipping, your motivation levels start tailing off, and you start going back to the old bad habits of that fixed mindset. What I'm saying to do is, you keep going and you do not quit. Because as long as you've got the right mindset and you are motivated and you're taking action, if it's any of my strategies, they will work. They will work. But the bigger the goal, the bigger the win, the bigger the result, the bigger the amount of time it takes to get there. So what I'm saying is the compound effect works where you're doing all these small things and these improvements on your business, and you're doing that and you're doing that and you're implementing this and you're changing that and you're introducing that, and you're wanting results overnight. But the compound effect at some point kicks in because all those little actions get bigger and bigger and bigger. And then one day, boom, it compounds and all of a sudden that result appears and it's there and you start to see it and your hard work starts to pay off. It's a little bit like you going and joining the gym and wanting to lose 2 stone. And wanting to lose the 2, you start on Monday, but by Friday, you want the result. You want to have lost 2 stone in 5 days. It's never going to happen. It might take you 5 months to lose 2 stone. But dropping 1 pound in 5 days, that's achievable. But everybody wants the big result. What I'm saying is the bigger results take a little bit of time. So be mindful that the compound effect is always working. You might not be seeing the result there and then, but if you keep at it and you don't quit and you've got the right mindset to continue, the big result will compound and boom, that's when you see that result. And when you see it and you can feel it and you can touch it and it starts to make a positive impact, all of a sudden, when you start getting the results, all of a sudden, that mindset that you had to start to shift that were hard work becomes easy. That getting up in the morning and going for a 3K run or going to gym at 5 o'clock in the morning, that once what was a bind, right, to get your motivation levels up, all of a sudden, it becomes easy. That once mindset of, oh, I'm not very technical savvy, Craig. I don't know how to use Leadzilla. I don't know how to use ServiceMate. I don't understand the numbers in my business. I were always rubbish at school at maths. All them limiting beliefs that you can't take action when you see results, remove. And then we've got momentum. And once we've got momentum, and we're going with it, momentum builds. Now think about this. It's called the snowball effect, and you know it, you've heard of it. But imagine you've got a big hill and there's a big boulder at the bottom of the hill. And your goal is to get the boulder up the hill by pushing it up yourself. But when you get it to the top of the hill, your result, your win, your milestone is at the top of that hill. So what do? You start off pushing this boulder up that hill, and it's really tough and it's really hard work, and you're sweating and you're grinding, and your fingers have got blisters on, and it starts rolling back down. And now all of a sudden, them weeks and weeks of work that you've put in, because the weight of what you're taking on is so vast, it's rolled back down and you've took 20 steps back. And then you've got to go again and go again and go again. And it's hard work. But now you're halfway up the hill. And you look down and you're halfway there. Right, let's get that momentum going and push that boulder up that last half. But just as you're getting near top, it's that hard, there's that much to do, there's that much pressure, that the boulder rolls back down. And now you're back to halfway. But we go again, and eventually you get that boulder to the top of that hill. And when the boulder's sat on the top of that hill, we can have a breather, we can take the foot off the gas, because we know we've got the result. And then we look down at the bottom and see the progress that we've made from all our hard work. All we need to do then is get the boulder down the other side of the hill. Now, when the boulder's on the top, it's not going to take a great deal more effort to get the boulder from the top of the hill to the bottom on the other side. In fact, it's one gentle push and that boulder is going over the hill, and it's going to gather momentum, and it's going to snowball down that hill, and it's going to demolish anything in its path. Well, that's momentum. You get the boulder up the hill, you get the result, but now we've got momentum. And all we need to keep doing are the 4 things that I've just shared with you in this episode. And when you get momentum, now things start to change. You now know the numbers in your business, so you're now making more profit. You're not having any more sleepless nights worrying about money. You're now generating qualified leads. And you know that these qualified leads that are coming in are for your most profitable product and service, because you understand the numbers. So now we've got the leads coming in, we've got rid of all them time wasters, and we can start to cherry pick the work. You've now introduced systems and automations into your business, so you're not having to work till 10 o'clock at night manually doing all that paperwork. You've now employed that trustworthy, reliable team who are now running the jobs for you or running the office side for you, so now you're no longer the busy fool. You're now having that free time and that time freedom to go on holiday for 2 weeks with your family and chill out and enjoy that family time. And you're no longer having to answer the phone, deal with the emails while you're on holiday, sat around the pool. You now have that work-life choice that I talk about. So now your business does not control you. You are now in front of and 10 steps ahead of the business. So now you're in control of your business. And remember, when you're in control of your business, you're in control of your time and you're in control of your money. Your relationships at home with your loved ones are stronger than ever. No more arguments about not being able to pay your mortgage or not being around for the kids. And I believe that deep down, the reason why we all do what we do and why we run our own businesses and we put ourselves and our families and our loved ones through this apprenticeship of learning how to build and grow a business, all boils down to just one word. And that one word is happiness. Deep down, all we want to be is happy in the short time that we are given in the game of life. Now, we've covered taking action as step number 3, right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set you 4 action tasks to go away and implement now you've listened to this episode. Action task number 1 is I want you to think about what you're going to do to make that shift in your mindset, right? Step number 1 is mindset. So what you're going to do? I gave you 15 things that you can go away and start. And like I said, you don't want to start trying to do the majority or all of them because your mindset's not adequate yet to be able to cope with it all. So just pick 1 or 2 things out that not next week, not next month, tomorrow. Tomorrow, you're going to start. So what is it? It might be, do you know what, Craig? I'm going to get up 1 hour earlier, right? And I'm going to start a new morning routine. Or I'm going to get up 1 hour earlier and invest that time into myself. I'm going to listen to another one of your podcast episodes, episode 9 or 10 that I've already suggested that you do. And make that shift on changing your mindset. Action task number 2. Commit to taking the first step to get yourself fired up, pumped up and motivated. Now, some of you listening to this will be like, Craig, this is exactly what I needed to hear. I really needed this. And there'll be others that might be going, Craig, I'm already motivated. I'm already pumped up and fired up. Right, how can we put that on steroids then? How can you do it even more? We've got to consistently be improving. So this could be literally, do you know what? I'm going to get up in the morning, an hour earlier, and I'm going to go for a walk, or I'm going to run, or I'm going to join gym, or I'm going to commit to stop drinking alcohol, or I'm going to start eating better diet, or I'm going to go and check out this law of attraction, Craig. Something that's going to get you motivated. Action task number 3. What is the one area of your business that you know deep down you need help in? Because some of you might be generating loads of leads, so you don't need any more leads. That's working for you. You might go, actually, Craig, I'm generating loads of leads, but when them leads come into my business, I'm having to manually do everything because I've got no systems or automation. Right, get working on your systems and automation then. And the best way of being able to consume content that's going to help you is by listening to this podcast on our website. Because if you listen to the podcast on our dedicated podcast website, we've categorized and put all of our episodes into different topics to make it easy for you to filter all the different content that you might need help in. So, for example, we've got a marketing topic, we've got a finance topic, we've got a mindset topic, we've got a planning topic. So whatever you need help with, if you want to refine that and get all the podcast episodes around one particular area of your business, go and check out our website, which is linked up below in the show notes and description. Action task number 4. I want you to head over to our Trades Freedom Club group and community, and I want you to start posting your wins, your results, your breakthroughs, decisions that you've been making, that you've been procrastinating on. Come and share your wins. And it doesn't matter whether it's a tiny win or a massive win. A win's a win. Nobody's going to judge you based on the size of your win. All we want you to do is win. We want you to become a champion. We want you to become a winner. And the only way you're going to win is by winning the little races that you're putting yourself in for. So head over to our Trades Freedom Club Facebook group and community. And again, the link to join our group is in the show notes and description. So there are your 4 action tasks from this particular episode. For a reminder, go back and listen to episode 9 and listen to episode 10 that will help you with steps number 1 and steps number 2. And finally, just a reminder that if you wanted to add yourself to our priority waiting list to get access to our new groundbreaking platform and secret, don't tell anyone, secret community that we're launching in the next couple of months, please consider adding yourself to our waiting list. Link is in the show notes below. And remember, when you're prepared to do what other people won't do, then you will achieve results. I'll catch up with you on next week's episode and I'll meet you at the top. Thank you.